Okay, this is me having just set up newly acquired Red Storm over the Reich by Compass Games. As you can see, rather a big map. Actually, it's two paper maps together. It's roughly about 4 foot by 3 foot, which is one of the bigger games I have. With some glass to put over it, however, it's quite a lot of reflection on the lights, so bear with me. You can see in the top right, it's the turn record track with a lot of German reinforcements over the next 4 or 5 turns. German holding. The movement point track, which I haven't fully read up on yet. The Soviet holding and the train effects. The rather nice charts included in the game. That's the unit types again, which I haven't got into. And the train effects, which is on the back of the Soviet setup card. As you can see, things are set up with the Soviets in January 45, about to take the offensive. Once the Germans have a solid line of counters, zones of control, their counters are fairly weak. If I can go into some of them here and let you see, without losing focus, they're mostly 1-2s, 2-3s, whereas a lot of the Soviets are 3-4s, 7s for their mechanized and tank units. So whereas most of the German tank units are 4-4s, their best 6-6s. 6 being the combat, I believe, and the other movement. First being combat, the other movement. I haven't read the rules on this particularly. It took a while to set up. As you can see, here's Germany itself. That's the German combat troops with some camp group holding boxes. Again, what they call the sequence of play chart, because the sequence of play seems to be quite different in most games. Divided up into, as you can see, roughly 20 different operations. We'll see how complicated that turns out to be. Now we're out in the Baltic Sea. There's Berlin itself with the bunker. Each of these cities in red have garrisons and victory points. Also, each of them has a nice feature, which is, if I zoom in on Kustrin, for instance, if you can see it, quite hard to do with this iPad with the camera off to the left. Kustrin, for instance, has a little marker saying March 31st, which is the historical time it fell, so it'll be interesting to see how the game relates to history. Quite an expansive area for the Soviets to advance over. There's all the Prussian lakes, obviously the Oder River, its tributaries. Soviets seem to have a lot of power. However, there is a line just, if I can get it, just beside what's noted as the Upper Silesian region. Just beside it there's a line running up the board, and that's the Soviet logistical strain line, so I'm assuming, without reading the rules, that beyond that they have problems with supply, either reducing combat, movement, or a combination of two, I would imagine. Whether there's a way to supplement that or supplant it, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not 100% sure what all the symbols mean. Again, quite hard to focus here in the light, but some of these, for instance, are defensive works built onto the map, which is basically the initial line in January. We have the Warsaw, or Vistula. Germans look like they're going to get creamed around here initially. There's a big build-up of Soviet forces in around Kilis and Radom. Obviously pushing up from Tarnow, Warsaw. Big build-up with Marshal Zhukov. Again, not much there in the way of Germans if they break through. Again, up here, slightly more difficult terrains, a lot of urban, swamp, mountains, broken, which I assume would slow them, but obviously this is why in this area we have a much less degree of units on both sides. Up the top near the direction of Königsberg, there's a big build-up of Soviet, not apparent from here, but underneath a lot of those 3-4 infantry corps, there's a lot of mechanized and tank units, which most are 4s, 5s, or 6s. There's Großdeutschland Panzer Division, which is one of the better German units, a 7-7. Interesting to see. I must get into reading the rules and try and play this. Big game. As you can see, there's my newly acquired Beyond Normandy and Barbarossa de Berlin, which I really enjoyed. Barbarossa de Berlin, that is. I haven't tried Beyond Normandy. It looks like a sort of Super Panzer Blitz. But anyway, we'll stick with Red Storm of the Reich, the last days of the Third Reich, and see how it goes. Interesting looking game. We'll see how it plays out, especially solo.